Hello future CS, welcome back to my channel again. So today we'll be solving the case scenario number 9 from the case scenario booklet for FR. So request you all to grab a notebook and pen and you can also start solving this along with me. So I have created a separate playlist as solving MCQ from the case scenario booklet for FR. There I will be adding all the videos relating to solving MCQs from case scenario booklet for CA final financial reporting. The link to that playlist is added in the description below. Please go and watch that playlist. Also guys, if you are new to my channel, I request you all to subscribe and hit the bell icon below so that you can get notified whenever I post new videos. So guys, when you visit my channel in the playlist section, you can see there is a separate playlist for CA final exam. And there is also playlist for CA final auditing, CA final AFM, and also there is a playlist for this case scenario booklet where I'll be adding more videos by solving the case scenario questions. There is also a playlist as CAGPT for students. In this I have made some videos demonstrating different techniques in which you can use CAGPT while preparing for your CA exams. So please visit my channel and you can watch all of these videos. So let's start this video. U Limited is engaged in mining and many other industries and prepares its financial statement following Ind AS and follows April to March as their financial year. During the year 2022-2023, the company has faced some issues and for their solution seeks your professional advice. Issue 1. U Limited and F Limited are partners of a joint operation engaged in the business of mining precious metals. The entity uses a jointly owned drilling plant in its operations. During the year ended 31st March 2023, an inspection was conducted by the government authorities in the mining fields. The inspection authorities concluded that adequate safety measures were not followed by the entity. As a consequence, a case was filed and a penalty of rupees 50 crores has been demanded from U Limited. The legal counsel of the company has assessed the demand and is of the opinion that the appeals may not be useful and the appeal orders will be unfavorable to the joint arrangement. Out of rupees 50 crores to be paid by U Limited, rupees 30 crore will be reimbursed by F Limited later as per the terms of joint operation agreement. At the year end, actual reimbursement was not received from F Limited. Now let's see the MCQ relating to this issue. MCQ number 1. With respect to a joint operation engaged in the business of mining precious metals, how will the liability be disclosed in the books of U Limited? Option A. Provision of rupees 20 crores and a contingent liability for rupees 30 crores. Option B. Contingent liability for rupees 50 crores. Option C. Provision for rupees 30 crores and a contingent liability for rupees 20 crores. Or option D. Provision for rupees 50 crores. So the relevant Ind AS applicable here are Ind AS 111 joint arrangements and Ind AS 37, that is provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. So now let's see some given data from the question. So U Limited is in joint operation with F Limited for mining. A government penalty of rupees 50 crore is imposed for safety violations. U Limited's legal counsel expects that the appeal will be unsuccessful. So the obligation is probable and the amount is also reliably measurable. As per the joint operation agreement, rupees 30 crores will be reimbursed by F Limited, but the reimbursement hasn't been received by the reporting date, that is 31st March 2023. So now let's see the accounting treatment. So let's see the treatment first under Ind AS 111 joint operation accounting. So in joint operations, each partner recognizes its share of assets, liability, revenue and expenses directly and not the joint operations. So U Limited is responsible for the full rupees 50 crore liability. Even though F Limited will reimburse rupees 30 crores later on, U Limited must record the full obligation of rupees 50 crore as liability in its books. Now let's see the accounting treatment under Ind AS 37. So what is the criteria for provision? A provision must be recognized if an entity has a present obligation, that is a legal or a constructive, as a result of past event, and it is probable that an outflow of resources will be required to settle the obligation and the amount can be reliably estimated. So applying these points to the case in hand, the penalty is confirmed, that is the amount is rupees 50 crores. The legal counsel advises that the appeal is unlikely to succeed. So that means this penalty is probable also. And the amount is also certain, that is rupees 50 crore. Thus a provision of full rupees 50 crore must be recognized. Now let's talk about the reimbursement under Ind AS 37. If some or all of the expenditure is expected to be reimbursed by other party, recognize a separate asset only when the receipt is virtually certain. So here the reimbursement from F Limited of rupees 30 crore is virtually certain based on the contract. Hence, U Limited will recognize an asset of rupees 30 crores separately and it cannot reduce the liability of rupees 50 crores. So the correct disclosure will be as follows. U Limited will recognize a provision of rupees 50 crores for the penalty in its books and it will also recognize a reimbursement receivable asset of rupees 30 crores separately. So here there is no contingent liability involved because the obligation is no longer uncertain. It is probable and it is also measurable. Hence the correct option is option D, provision for rupees 50 crore. Now let's see the issue number 2. U Limited has issued 10 lakh 9% cumulative preference shares. The company has arrears of rupees 15 crores of preference dividend as on 31st March 2023. It includes current year arrears of rupees 1.75 crores. The company did not declare any dividend for equity shareholders as well as for preference shareholders. Further, U Limited has also issued certain optionally convertible debentures which are outstanding at the year end. Now let's see the MCQ relating to this issue. MCQ number 2. What is the amount of preference dividend to be reduced from profit or loss for the year for calculating basic earnings per share? Option A, rupees 15 crores. Option B, rupees 1.75 crores. Option C, rupees 13.25 crores. Or option D, nothing, as no dividend has been declared by the entity. The relevant Ind AS here is Ind AS 33, that is earning per share. Now let's see the given data from the question. U Limited has issued 9% cumulative preference shares. As of 31st March 2023, Total arrears of preference dividend is rupees 15 crores, out of which current year's portion is rupees 1.75 crores and the previous year arrears are rupees 13.25 crores. The company has not declared any dividend for either preference or equity shareholders. So what does Ind AS 33 actually say about all this? When calculating basic EPS, the profit or loss attributable to ordinary equity shareholders must be adjusted for the following. Any preference dividend on cumulative preference shares, whether declared or not. So the key concept here is, for cumulative preference shares, the dividend for the current year must be deducted from the profit, whether declared or not. The arrears from the previous year are ignored for EPS calculation unless the profit of the current year is specifically intended to cover them. So now let's apply this key concept to the given case in hand. So in this case, the current year preference dividend is rupees 1.75 crore. This must be deducted. Prior year arrears, that is rupees 13.25 crores, are only relevant for disclosure but do not affect the current year's EPS unless the company declares them during the current year, which it hasn't. So correct calculation of EPS amount to be reduced will be current year cumulative preference dividend, that is rupees 1.75 crore. Hence the correct option is option B, rupees 1.75 crores. So now let's see why not other options are not applicable, that is A, C or D. Why these are not applicable? Option A, which was 15 crores. So this include past year's dividend as well. So hence this is incorrect for EPS calculation. So as we discussed, for EPS calculation only the current year's dividend will be deducted. Then option C, which is rupees 13.25 crores. So this is only past year arrears. So this is again irrelevant for EPS calculation. Then option D, this is also incorrect. Option D is nothing, as no dividend has been declared by the entity. This is also incorrect, as the current year's dividend of rupees 1.75 crore must be deducted for computing EPS. For cumulative preference share, the dividend is deducted, whether declared or not. So option D is also not applicable. Now let's see the issue number 3. On 1st January 2023, U Limited acquired 30% of the shares of T Limited. The investment was accounted for as an associate in U Limited's consolidated financial statement. Both U Limited and T Limited have an accounting year end of 31st March 2023. U Limited has no other investments in associates. Net profit for the year in T Limited's income statement for the year ended 31st March 2023 was rupees 0.23 crores. It declared and paid a dividend of rupees 0.1 crore on 1st March 2023. No other dividends were paid in the year. Now let's see the MCQ relating to this issue. MCQ number 3. What amount will be shown as an inflow in respect of earnings from the associate in the statement of cash flows of U Limited for the year ended 31st March 2023? Option A, rupees 0.020 crores. Option B, rupees 0.026 crores. Or option C, rupees 0.030 crores. Or option D, rupees 0.046 crores. So the relevant Ind AS here are Ind AS 7, Statement of Cash Flows, And Ind AS 28, that is investments in associate and joint ventures. Now let's see some given data. U Limited acquired 30% stake in T Limited, an associate, on 1st January 2023. T Limited's net profit for the year ended 31st March 2023 was rupees 0.23 crores. T Limited declared and paid a dividend of rupees 0.1 crore on 1st March 2023. So let's see about Ind AS 7 cash flow for reporting for associates. Under the equity method, share of profits from associate is a non-cash item and is adjusted in the operating section. That is, it is added back to the profit for EPS. Hence, it is not a cash flow. Whereas dividend received from associate are actual cash inflows and are shown in the investing activities. So the given info, dividend declared and paid by T Limited is equal to rupees 0.1 crore and U Limited share in this dividend is 30% of this is rupees 0.03 crore. So the correct treatment is as follows. In the statement of cash flows for U Limited, dividend received from the associate is the only cash inflow recognized, and the profit share, that is 30% of 0.23 crores, that is 0.069 crore. This is an accounting adjustment which is of non-cash nature and it does not appear as cash inflow. So the correct cash inflow is rupees 0.03 crores. So the correct option is option C, rupees 0.03 crores. Now let's see the issue number 4. On 1st January 2023, U Limited also acquired a 60% stake in S Limited. The cash consideration payable was rupees 1 crore to be paid immediately and rupees 1.21 crores after 2 years. The fair value of net assets of S Limited at acquisition date was rupees 3 crores. U Limited has calculated that its cost of capital is 10%. Non-controlling interest is measured at the proportionate share of identifiable net asset. Let's see the MCQ relating to this issue. MCQ number 4. Calculate the amount of goodwill or gain on bargain purchase arising upon acquisition of S Limited. Option A, rupees 1 crore gain on bargain purchase. Option B, rupees 8 lakhs gain on bargain purchase. Option C, rupees 20 lakhs goodwill, or option D, rupees 41 lakhs goodwill. The relevant Ind AS applicable here is Ind AS 103, that is business combinations. Given data, U Limited acquired 60% stake in S Limited on 1st January 2023. The consideration payable is as follows. Immediate payment of rupees 1 crore and deferred payment of rupees 1.21 crores after 2 years. Fair value of net assets of S Limited at acquisition date is equal to rupees 3 crores. And non-controlling interest, this is measured at proportionate share of identifiable net assets. Discount rate, that is cost of capital, is equal to 10%. So step number 1 will be to calculate the present value of deferred payments. So deferred payments, which is 1.21 crores due after 2 years, we'll have to compute the present value of this. So the present value formula is as follows. Future value divided by 1 plus r to the power of n. So here R is equal to 10%, that is the discount rate, which is equal to 0.10. And then N is 2 years, since this is due after 2 years. Hence, applying this formula, the present value will be computed as follows. So the present value will be rupees 1 crore. Now step number 2, total consideration transferred. So immediate payment of rupees 1 crore and then present value of deferred payment which we computed above, that is 1 crore. Hence the total consideration transferred is rupees 2 crores. Now step number 3, computing non-controlling interest. So non-controlling interest is measured at the proportionate share of net assets. So the net assets is rupees 3 crores and the non-controlling interest percentage is 40%. So you limited holds 60% stake and the balance 40% will be the non-controlling interest. So hence the non-controlling interest here will be 3 crores into 40%, which is equal to rupees 1.20 crores. Step number 4, calculation of goodwill or gain on bargain purchase. So the formula for this is total consideration plus non-controlling interest minus fair value of net assets. So guys, whenever you are solving this case scenario, you can see there are different formula for each of the case scenarios. So it is better to note down all the formula in one sheet so that you can revise the formulas one day before the exam. So total consideration rupees 2 crores and non-controlling interest rupees 1.2 crores minus fair value of net assets which is equal to rupees 3 crores. So applying this formula, the goodwill will be rupees 0.20 crores or 20 lakhs. So the correct option here is option C, rupees 20 lakhs goodwill. So let's understand few more concepts relating to Ind AS 103. So the combination is accounted for at acquisition date fair values. The deferred payments must be discounted to present value. Hence the deferred payment which was made after 2 years has been discounted here. The non-controlling interest is measured at its proportionate share of fair value of net assets when the option is elected. And since the combined consideration plus the non-controlling interest exceeds the fair value of assets, the difference recognized here is goodwill. So the total consideration plus non-controlling interest here is rupees 3.20 crore and the fair value of net asset is 3 crore. Hence the balance of rupees 0.20 crore is recognized as goodwill. So that's it guys for today's video. I hope you found this video useful and informative. In case you found this video useful, please like and share the video. And also subscribe to my channel for more such videos and exam related strategies. All the best for your exams. Happy studying and I will see you all in the next video.